Hey gang, I'm back. I'm gonna be moving soon. Again, there's nothing wrong with this place. It's beautiful, and I'm actually really liking this place. But I wish I didn't want to move. But I am going to move because I can get a really good deal where I'm going to go, and the place is just a little more in tune with what I'm like, because the guys I'm going to live with are both like me. They're both big gaming nerds, and you'll probably get to meet them. They have a projector there too, which is fucking awesome. But we can't make a lot of noise because there's neighbors downstairs from Lebanon who are going to complain. They've complained a lot. Oh well, what can you do? I just finished watching. Focus on this thing. Perfect. Alright, I just watched Sid and Nancy. It's a movie about Sid Vicious. It's got Gary Oldman playing Sid Vicious. He's my favorite actor. I love him to death because he is acting, as far as I'm concerned. Gary, if you're watching this, you are the shit. Don't let anyone tell you different. If they all beat them up for you point, I go. Anyway, it's just Sid Vicious, his life, when he joins the Sex Pistols, what happens. So the movie itself, well acted, well directed. The thing is, Johnny Rotten, who's the lead singer for Sex Pistols, said the movie wasn't very accurate. There's a lot of things that were totally screwed up, that didn't mesh, didn't even happen, or you just got the facts wrong. Like when they're about to play in America somewhere, and Johnny yells out, "Do you guys feel like you've been ripped off?" He actually says that at the end of the set, not at the start. So it's just a lot of little things like that are fucked up. So other than that, I thought it was a good portrayal of Sid Vicious, because that type of person is just living for drugs and just for a thrill of the moment kind of thing. It's pretty crappy. Everything about the movie was fine, except for the inaccuracies, of course. But I don't really care. Things have to be changed. A real life story can't just be dropped on film, because it usually doesn't work. You have to make compromises, which is why a lot of books, people get upset because the book was so much better, and then oftentimes the book is better. But you got to understand, when you're shooting with a camera versus reading lines directly out of somebody's mind, there's a lot of things you can't say with a camera that the audience is not going to get. Here's what I meant to say with the camera, here's what the audience perceived. It doesn't work, right? So, of course, things have to be changed. But a lot of things that were inaccurate in the movie didn't really need to be changed. They just didn't get their facts right. I heard they were talking to one of the guys in the Clash about it or something, and that was more or less like, what's the rock and roll lifestyle like, basically, rather than what's Sid Vicious like. I don't know. Anyway, the thing that pisses me off, okay, a couple things, is Punk is dead. Punk died pretty much right after the Sex Pistols. They were Punk to me, if there ever was a Punk. And the Ramones, of course, were Punk. There's a couple other bands that are punk. Like Green Day is a really good idea of a punk band. They're probably the most punk band, if there is still a punk band. If the pulse of punk is not dead, it lies with Green Day. They're the only band that are actually doing it. But to be a true punk, you have to not care about music, and you have to not care about money and all that shit. You'll play when you feel like it, and you don't take shit from nobody, kind of thing. So basically, any real punk is never going to make it, because they don't have the fucking focus and the drive to actually become something. They're just too much living for the moment and that type of thing, which was portrayed in the movie. And that lifestyle makes me so angry, because all they do in this movie basically is do drugs, and they're either waiting for drugs to come or they're coming down off of drugs. So Sid and Nancy, right? Sid couldn't even play guitar, bass. They turned the amp off on him a lot of the time because he couldn't play. He's not a good player. He was the attitude of the band, and that's what got them, famous. That's why they became such a big band, is because of him, not because of Johnny Rotten or anything. It's fucked up, because when I was a kid, I knew Sid Vicious was in the band. I thought Sid Vicious was the lead singer, because usually the lead singer is the one that gets all the ass and all the publication and everything. But no, it was Vicious. Anyway, Sid Vicious is a fuck up. If he was born 10 years later, he very well could have been an emo kid. Life is terrible. Let's make out, guys. Let's do a lot of drugs and just whatever. Roll the dice and see what happens. But life's not like that. Like the punk spirit, basically, if you're a true 100% punk, you'll never fit in society. It should be done when you're young, when you're a kid, when you're rebellious, before you can get a criminal record. You get all that shit out of your system, and then you grow up and go, Well, I know we had some fun, but it was pretty fucking stupid, wasn't it? I mean, to kick in somebody's windshield that you don't know, beat up some lady, just all that shit. It's fucking stupid. Because the way reality works is you have to work towards things. You have to have goals. You have to have a job. I mean, I don't have a job, so point the finger at me if you want, but I'm going to get one soon. But you know what I mean. I mean, I'm a productive member of society. That type of thing. Punk just is like a counter to that. It's like I spite the world, I spite myself, I spite everything. I hate everything. Oh, let's become anarchists, But anarchy doesn't work because I have a friend that Corey. He's an anarchist, but he doesn't want the world to go down to the pisser. He hates the establishment, right? He thinks it's stupid. I do too. I think the establishment's dumb. We could do way better. But true anarchy won't work either, because all those people that say, "Yeah, I want anarchy, man. Yeah, let's kill all the cops and make anarchy." And then what happens? Like roaming bands of guys come and kill you and your girlfriend and destroy your house and take everything you own. Like, that's anarchy. You lose. Bye. So anyway, anarchy just doesn't work. So anyway, yeah. I think Sid Vicious was no big deal. I don't understand why everybody fantasizes about this guy and wants to, yeah, man, Sid and I, we would have been so cool together, yeah. It's just, it's such a useless thing to rebel that hard. It's something you do when you're a kid and you should grow out of, but he never did. So, I mean, to me, personally, I think it's a pretty big waste, you know what I mean? If you had any talent, you never really got to see it. So, I mean... be like Elvis never even really making it on stage. He died of a drug overdose before he even got famous. That's basically what it is. So I mean, it makes you wonder what Sid would be doing if he would have lived another 10 years or whatever, right? Anyway, Avril Lavigne saying like she's punk. Avril, you're not punk. You never were punk. You can't see punk with a fucking telescope, okay? It's so stupid. Nobody really knows what it is, and so many things get mislabeled as punk. Punk is dead. Is dead is pretty much almost, except for I think Green Day. But even then, if you're that kind of punk, you wouldn't even sit down to be filmed. You wouldn't let somebody film you. You wouldn't even let your music get out. You'd be like, fuck it, yeah, woo. You just play the music and scream real loud and go home and do a lot of drugs, and that's it. Anyway, just that lifestyle irritates the fuck out of me. It really pisses me off that you should, in your life, you should want to, like I said, build towards things and have something, work for something. So it pisses me off that people actually aspire to this. This is a gecko, by the way. It's pretty cool. Oh, some kind of, I don't know, lizard. So yeah, punk is dead. Get over it. Cut your fucking hair. Get a job.